I can't remember
It was
what.
a Deadpool Elvis.
Yes, a Deadpool Elvis. So he was
And
playing
he, Dancing Queen. He had a
Dancing Queen.
little speaker on his hip.
Yeah,
And it's Dancing
yeah.
Queen.
So they
And
were
that's
dancing together, and I'm always just like hee 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 in the background.
Hi everyone, welcome to Behind the Booth. I'm Jade, and with me as always is my producer and co-host Heather.
Hi, and on this we talk about wild stories from Comic-Con vendors because we go around the whole country basically, and we're going to be going to Canada soon. I'm really excited about
Yeah,
that. But we're going all over the
international.
place. Yeah, to all these conventions, and Jade actually owns her own booth, and I am her support. And today we're actually talking about cosplayers and how to kind of collaborate with them, how to tag them in things, how to get help from them sometimes. But first, I want to talk about where you can find us because we're going to all these conventions. We want to meet you guys. We want to see you in person because, I'll probably be wearing this. You might recognize me. Jade is always dressed up as a kitsune. Is that how you say that?
Kitsune, yeah.
Kitsune.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Japanese lore. It's cute.
Yeah. So, Jade, what is the next one that we are going to be at?
So the next one we will be at is in Cleveland, Fan Expo Cleveland, and that I believe is going to be March 24th through the 26th. So check out our booth at Tokyo Dog Designs.
Yes. And after that, we are going to MegaCon in Orlando. That will be the next weekend. So the
It's
end
like
of
the
March,
biggest
beginning of
one we'll
April.
ever go to, probably
I'm
ever.
so freaking excited. It's going to be
So
amazing.
competitive to get in that.
It's
Oh
going
my
to be a
God, it's
blast.
so competitive. We got really lucky. We got like eked in, like
Yeah.
super tiny.
Yeah, no, we're so excited. But we would love to meet you guys, so please come and find us for the Tokyo Dog Designs booth. But let's talk about cosplayers. Let's talk about how you kind of get into relationships with them. You can collaborate. You really, like, we've met a lot of really fantastic people. So, yeah, how would you start with that, Jade?
So cosplay is a very interesting thing. It's hard to explain to people that have never seen it before or experienced it, but I like to talk about it almost as if it's like Halloween. People dress as something really cool. It's like a full thing. Some of them actually portray the actual character that they're cosplaying as. Sometimes they're just a representation of it, but these costumes are phenomenal and most of them are made. They often aren't stuff you can buy online, although there's some fantastic ones you can buy online. Either they were handmade by somebody or this person did a unique take on a character. I saw, for those of you that are familiar with Mario Kart and anything Super Mario Brothers, I saw somebody dressed up as Princess Peach, but did it steampunk Victorian. And so it's their own take on a character. And some people have their own characters that they come up with that they dress as.
Yeah.
So technically, what I dress up as is something based on a mythical lore, but isn't an actual like anime or movie or Marvel or anything. It's just my interpretation.
Yeah. And most likely, if you do see us, I'll be dressed as Eddie Munson ish from Stranger Things. But yeah, again, I make it into a female version, and just have more fun with it because honestly, I have hips. He doesn't have hips, so I cannot pull off his his look.
Well, he kind of doesn't have hips. And I
No,
don't
he
think he's
doesn't.
had given birth to two children. So maybe that has something to do with it.
Yeah.
But the fun
So
thing about
yeah.
cosplay, I think, is how much effort goes into it. I mean, you see these people's costumes and they're so proud of them. They work so hard. And even the ones that suck, that are just like completely unimaginative, they're still proud of it and
Yeah.
they're really fun. And my favorite thing about cosplayers is they're always down for like anything. So whenever you want a picture of one or a video, you always ask first. It's very important. Cosplay does not equal consent. But you'll ask them, and I ask them all the time, like, hey, can you do like a cool pose? Or I want to do a video. Can you do like the Batman whip of the cape? And I got somebody to do that who dressed as the Michael Keaton Batman,
Huh?
the one where you can't turn your head at all
Yeah.
because of the mask. And I was like, can you do like the turnaround thing? It's like a classic thing from the movie. And he did, and it was awesome. And so what I end up doing with these videos and clips is I make kind of a montage at the end of my trip and I share what it was like there, but I'll also post like during the event itself. And cosplay people are fucking awesome.
Yeah. No, they're really fantastic. And they're so easy to, well, I mean, and this is a broad generalization, but like she said, it doesn't equal consent. So don't just immediately walk up to them and be like, "Hey, I love you. I love your costume. Can I take a picture?" Like, you need to be respectful of that and not and if people say no, obviously you need to walk away. But
Mhm.
so many of them are like there's something about when you recognize a cosplay that not a lot of people recognize, and you say it to that
Mhm.
person, you're like, I know who you are, and they're just like, oh my gosh, you do, and it's just like it's an instant connection and it's wonderful. But they're always, yeah, like you said, they're really down to do anything. And when
Yeah.
we take pictures and videos, if we post them at all, because we always ask that as well, like, yeah, can I take a picture? And sometimes it's just like, I want to show it to my family back home that I found somebody that
Hmm.
did this. We ask, can I post this on Instagram? And
Yes.
then can I tag you? Because like
Yes.
uh a lot of them do this as like a really big hobby, or sometimes it's even their business. And so they're like, yes, please tag me. Like I would love to find you and be able to like, talk to people about you as well. And
Mhm.
but yeah, getting that permission is really important, and it makes that connection really, really well. But I want to talk about with these cosplayers because we've made some relationships with people that you have seen like several times,
Yes.
right?
They'll
Yeah.
find my booth to talk
Yeah.
to me and to see me. And it's always so much fun because they always cosplay as different things. Most like cosplayers will have a different outfit every day, and they put in contacts and like face paint and wigs. So there's really nothing you can pick out about them except for the one thing I look for is face shape right here. Because a lot of them will have like masks on and stuff. So I look for this right here to see if I can recognize their face. And they'll come up and be like, hey, and I'm like, hey, were you dressed as this person yesterday? They're like, oh my God, yes, I was. But sometimes I can hear it in their voice, but sometimes these cosplayers will also have like microphones in front of their mouths that like do different sounds and stuff. There was that dragon that had that little um I don't know, it sounded like a kazoo, if you know what a kazoo
I think it
is.
was a kazoo, yeah.
But they had it in their mouths, and when they talk, it wasn't like thank you, it was like doo, 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 doo. Like it sounded like it was so cute.
It was the freaking
So
cutest thing ever. Oh my
I would
gosh.
not have recognized their voice because they had that modifier. It's kind of like that Scream movie where they have that little thing, like you have no idea who they
Right?
are,
It's
right?
like the murderer's voice, yeah. It's like all those
So,
TikTok filters that you can do now, but they can do it in live, like actually in
yeah.
front of you. It's really cool.
Or like the Darth Vaders and some
Yeah,
of the people that go as like Mandalorians and stuff, they'll have the full face thing. When they talk, it sounds like how it does in the show.
yeah,
So very cool.
it's very
But I
cool.
do my best to recognize them and remember them. And when you do the photos, or if you do like, hey, can we, take a photo together, do a video together, then we ask, can we tag you? And it was actually Heather that started doing this. I was so impressed because she was using my phone to take the pictures, and then she was on her own phone being like, hey, can I follow you on Instagram? And then she just had them type it in
Mhm.
because when you say like, oh, it's at the blah blah blah, you spell it wrong. Sometimes people use Y's instead of I's or numbers, and you have no
They have
idea. So they
spaces
just
or
type it in
something. Yeah.
themselves. And then they hit follow, and then she's making all these relationships with people, talking to them. And she's so in front of the camera. Like Heather is always like, I'm here and I'm there. And she got so recognized that she had to sign an autograph for somebody
I
at
did.
breakfast.
In Albuquerque. If you haven't listened, I think it's episode like 4 or something. We talk about how I was
Yeah.
famous in Albuquerque for a minute. Like, who knew?
But it's because she's always in front of the camera, and that's great. And Heather is that personality. I am not. I would rather like do the videos and stuff. But I've asked cosplayers like, hey, can I just have you all line up in one place? I'm gonna walk right through you. Can you guys just do like a cool thing as I walk through? And most of these people have like a pose or a movement that they've memorized that's either a part of the character, like you've seen them do it, or it's their own take on the character. For those of you that have seen Evil Dead, Ash has that, the chainsaw and the gun, right? And there's this guy that I asked to do this with, and he did the coolest thing. He did a half turn, looked at me, and did the flip with the gun, and then stepped back. And we'll check out TikTok because it's an amazing clip we were able to get. But he just did that. I didn't even direct him. He just had that. He practiced that. I'm like, that's so cool. And it's hard to not be like so excited when you do these videos. Although
Yeah.
some of our live ones, you'll hear Heather laughing.
Oh my
She's got the
gosh.
best laugh ever.
I'm giggling all the freaking time. Well, especially, okay, Jade does a lot of dancing because Jade
I
was a
do.
professional dancer. Like, she's.
Okay, I was a ballroom dancer. Let's be clear about what kind of profession that was. No poles involved. Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking that.
Yeah,
Goodness
I was a
gracious.
professional ballroom dancer. I danced with a partner, but like proper dancing. I didn't do anything salacious that I
That
remember.
we know of. But so she will like, she'll grab a Darth Vader and be like, "Hey, would you mind doing a waltz with me?" We had a Deadpool that was playing like I can't remember
It was a
what.
Deadpool Elvis,
Yes, a Deadpool Elvis. So he was
and
playing
Dancing Queen. He had a
Dancing
little
Queen.
speaker on his hip.
Yeah.
and it's dancing
Yeah,
queen,
so they
and
were
that's
dancing together, and I'm always just like hee 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 in the background.
and that's where it started. Actually started with that person.
Yeah,
Um, we started doing like the 70s thing, and
yeah,
then there's something that we know as follows, because I was trained as a follow. I can't leave to save my life. And Heather, actually, she's being modest. She's also a swing dancer, keyword on the dancer there, also type of partner dance. And she's quite good. Actually, she's quite a good dancer.
thank you.
But there's something that they'll do as a lead where they'll kind of put their hand out and you put yours on theirs. And then that is the start of what we call Lindy Hop.
Mhm.
And that's what we ended up doing. And I had
Yeah,
no idea, but just those instincts kicked in. And I was like, yeah, let's do a Lindy. This would be great. And
yeah,
he did a dip and everything. And I was not used to it because I was in these like massive flats that I wear that protect my knees because I'm standing
yeah.
up all day. And that was when we were at an ice rink.
Mm.
That's so bad for your knees.
Yeah.
So bad. So, but yeah, you make these relationships, and a lot of these cosplayers go to multiple events. And so they'll see you, and then they start liking you. They'll be like, hey, do you want a bathroom break? Especially since I'm there by myself a lot.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh my God, I so want to pee. That's so
Mhm.
true. And then they'll just like watch your booth. And I'm like, you don't have to sell anything. And they'll be like, oh no, it's okay. I can talk about your products because a lot of times they've bought my stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, just tell them I'll be right back. I just have to pee. I actually had somebody tag team for me who stood in line for me at the bathroom because the bathrooms were so packed.
Oh my
And then
gosh.
they texted me when I was getting close. Their other friend was at my booth. I was like, okay, I'm going. And then we just tagged out a line.
Yeah.
So it didn't look like cutsies. And I was able to pee and get back. But I mean, the amount of time you're away from your booth can be 45 minutes to an hour.
Yep. If
That's a
you're by
long
yourself.
time.
Yeah. And so making those relationships was really important. One story that I really remember was at the Colorado Springs Comic Con. We were on that ice
Yes.
rink, and there was a girl that you had met at another one, I think
Yes.
the Denver one, and
Yes.
she like cosplays as like Harley Quinn and
The
Wanda.
Margot Robbie Harley Quinn, for those of you that know which one that
Right.
is.
Sorry,
Mhm.
that's like the only Harley Quinn I really know. So, um,
Yeah, there's lots of iterations. So,
yeah.
and she looks a lot like Margot Robbie. She has
Oh
a
my
very similar face
gosh.
structure.
She did such a great job, and she like
Mhm.
she did a whole WandaVision. She had a book that was floating from the Multiverse of Madness. It was amazing. But
Mhm.
anyway, like so we saw her one day, and Jade had forgotten a safety pin to put her tail on her back, and we were staying in a hotel, and we're like, we don't want to like go out shopping. We don't really have the time to do that, and
Mhm.
we're like, oh well, I guess it's our loss. But we talked to her, and I think you gave her something in return. But like the next day, she came back and she had this big old
Mhm.
safety pin for you. Like it just those little things people will remember,
Yeah.
and like it's just making those connections with really cool people. You get to meet a really cool people. We had one, the same one. We had a guy as Billy Butcher,
Butcher.
yeah,
Mhm.
from The
Butcher
Boys.
from
Oh, he
The
did such
Boys.
a
Yeah.
good job. I mean, he
Even did the
wasn't
accent.
British, but he did the accent and
Yeah.
the attitude so well, and he was
Mhm.
just super cool. But yeah, we just
The
meet
picture of
like
us in a ballroom hold. He's actually a trained ballroom dancer as
yeah,
well.
yeah. But these people are fantastic, and they go all over the place. They go to all different kinds of connections or conventions, and they will have connections there as well from
Mhm.
um, other vendors, from other cosplayers, to even like volunteers and even like celebrity guests, like stuff like that. They like everybody is there to really support and build each other up, but you have to put yourself in there. You have to talk to these
Yeah.
people. You have to like show that you're actually interested and that you're like, hey, I'm going to be here for the long haul and I'm going to
Mhm.
follow you and I'm going to, I think you're really fantastic. So I'm going to show people your stuff. So like, don't
Mhm.
be afraid to, to mix in there and like meet people and really, it takes 2 seconds, to be like,
Mhm.
hey, can you put your Instagram handle? Can you put your TikTok in my
Yeah.
phone? So don't be afraid to do that because people will love it. Of course, ask. And if they say no,
Yeah.
then back off.
Consent's super important. Ask. But
Ask.
it actually
Yeah.
worked out for me because I was at Collecticon in Denver and I was going to Anime NYC. I had been
Mhm.
just gotten approval on the application, which we talked about applications on another episode. And I was talking to somebody and I was like, yeah, I'm going to New York here soon. They're like, oh, are you doing Anime NYC? I said, yeah. They're like, oh, I really wanted to go to that, but the tickets were sold out and there's an artist there that I should have just gone and see. And I was like, well, where are you from there? She's like, oh, yeah, I live over at blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, okay. Um, I have a spare badge. If I give you the badge, will you let me pee once in a while? And she's like, are you serious? I was like, yeah. And they were like, oh my God, yes, I would love that. And so they were talking about like taking a ferry from somewhere to get there. I'm like, I have no idea what any of that means. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the badge at my hotel with your name on it. And a lot of times with the Instagrammers and people that are cosplayers, they don't give out the real information. There's things with stalking, there's that, boundary you
Yeah.
want to be respectful of. Especially some of them you don't even know if they're 18.
Yeah.
Most of them tend to be, especially the really good ones tend to be, but I don't know, and I don't want to be all weird about it. So I was communicating with them through Instagram and then eventually by cell phone. And I said, hey, this is where we're at. Go ahead and grab the badge. And they usually give you 2 badges for your booth. And they got to get in and see people, and our exhibitor badges give us special privileges. We can get in early. We don't have to wait in line. Sometimes you can get in with food because we need to eat, and that's a whole other episode. But I was able to get help there. I just met somebody at the Atlanta Comic-Con, which was where I got this shirt. It's an amazing
Hawkins.
shirt. Yes, and then they gave me a free mug. I love it.
Oh my gosh.
Stainless steel. So I'm going to rock this because it was a gift. This is sponsorship,
nice.
by the way, if you want to sponsor us. Atlanta happened for you.
Yes, email us at talkbehindthebooth@gmail.com if you want to sponsor us.
Just so you know, until we start getting sponsors, we're going to keep announcing that.
Yep.
But I met somebody there who asked me, am I going to be at Fan Expo Chicago? I said, I think so. I have applied. We don't know if we're in yet. They're like, well, let us know. It's a family of 3. And like, let us know, we'll be happy to give you bathroom breaks. And I was like, absolutely, that'd be great. They're like, the only thing is we want you to hold our swag underneath your table and protect it for us. I'm like, okay, that's easy. Because people will shop and they have all this stuff and they have to carry it around all day. I'm like, just put it underneath the table. I'm not leaving. I'm like, I shall protect it for you with my life, kind of. So
with my life,
you
kind
get
of.
these,
asterisk.
you get these relationships, and some of these people are going to be there anyways. If they need to be paid, I'm happy to pay them to help me out if I need help. That's a big thing with this stuff, is that you don't want to take anything for free. We definitely talked about that in another episode, but when you have these volunteers, I mean, these people are like, I'll help you sell, I'll help you. I'm like, no, I just tell people I'll be right back. Make sure nothing grows legs and walks off. And that would be great. Or they get me boba tea or something and they bring me back food.
Yeah.
But even in that case, I buy their boba tea and I buy their lunch when I have them wait in line. Because again, we don't want to abuse their kindness.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's important to make those relationships, because obviously, especially with Jade, was going by herself a lot of the time because I can't go every time. I have a family, I have kids. I have another business that I'm running as well, so I can't come every time. I would like to, but I can't. And so
somebody else has to do the Nerdy Girl podcast.
Yeah. So she has to do some of this by herself. And so making those relationships and those connections is really important, and it's so easy to do. Even if you're not, I mean, I'm a very people person, bubbly kind of, so it's like crazy easy for me. But even if you're not, even if you are, like, just those little, Jade is not. Just those little tips but you do like people, and you love taking the videos and stuff. And so easily you can be like, hey, can you put in your Instagram? I would love to tag you in this. So just to wrap that up, because it encompasses a lot of things, and I'm sure we'll go even more into even more stories that we've had, because we have some funny stories of people behind our booth. And if you have any questions, anything else that you would like to hear us talk about, please email us at talkbehindthebooth@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok at either Behind the Booth or Talk Behind the Booth. And we would love to talk to you guys. We would love to answer the questions that you're interested in learning about. And we're just excited to go to the next one.
And a special thank you to Nerdy Girl Podcast for sponsoring this episode. We look forward to seeing you next time.